Okay. I'd like to call to order the Edinburgh Board of Metropolitan Police Commissioners on Tuesday, January 27, 2026 at 5:20. If y'all want to join me in saying pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, first order is the roll call.
Is there another agenda? I'm sorry.
You can just have them.
Roll call is Ryan Piercefield,
Here.
Emily Cravens.
Here.
Curtis Rooks is here. Also with us is Brian Alsop, the board attorney, and also Miss Rhonda Barrett. Next item is the approval of the minutes from the meeting on December the 30th, 2025. Is there any questions or corrections? If none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next up is rules and regulation and bylaws. Brian, I'm going to turn that over to you, please.
Thank you. I did, before the meeting started, hand out a copy of what I would call the initial draft of the Edinburgh Board of Metropolitan Police Commissioners Rules and Procedures. These will need to be gone through. I prepared copies for all of us, for Rhonda, the town manager, and the chief of police. And we can always open these up for public comment later. I did want to just hit on a couple of kind of pipe points as we go through. But again, this is something that we'll need to vote and implement this later. So I went through the rules and procedures, applicant qualifications. That's a big thing. What we do is make sure that the police department has the officers that they need for either lateral or non-lateral hirees. The selection of applicants. If you turn there to page 3, sort of the process, the testing, the screening, the things of that nature that go through. Whether that be personal interviews, things of that nature, scoring. I would point out section 5 on page 4. I think that needs to be looked at. I wrote that up and thought, perhaps we need some folks to decide if we want to, how we want to go about that. Special composite score adjustments basically gives a little bit additional scoring to members of the United States military who've been honorably discharged. And then also children of officers who have died in the line of duty is another, I think, traditionally preferred group. But again, we can do whatever we want in our rules. That's not by Indiana code. Turning along, one thing that I did not know for sure, but I did speak with town attorney Dustin Huddleston. He said that there has been, one thing that I did not know for sure, but I did speak with town attorney Dustin Huddleston. He said that there has been a pension review board set up. Therefore, I've included the pension review board in our rules as well. Continuing on and I don't know if you wanted this or not. This is in some of the other cities that I've reviewed, whether or not to prohibit political activity for law enforcement officers or not. We can certainly do that. That's, I think, you just can't do it while you're in uniform, but we can read through that and determine if that is something that you all wish to keep in our rules. Rule and procedure regarding discipline, that is straight cited to the Indiana code, and then of course with some additional language there about what we can and we cannot undertake as far as discipline goes as the commission. Performance ratings, this is something I think especially for the town manager, the town council to look at. The way that I read the Indiana code is that there should be some sort of more formalized system for giving performance reviews and performance ratings to officers. We certainly can come up with our own standards on this board if we would like. I punted it when I did this initial draft to the town council to determine what, if any, rating system. Now there would have to be some collaboration then between the town council and this board on that. I've listed it as the town council shall adopt a performance rating system for the Edinburgh Police Department. This is something, again, that we will need to discuss and determine whether or not we want to come up with internal rules, if we want the police department to come up with their own rules for rating, or if we want the town council to do rules. So I think that's important to have in there. But again, trying to stick with the Indiana code as much as possible. Promotion, be the next line there. I did not have any idea what the ranks were in the Edinburgh Police Department. So I listed what I commonly believe to be sergeant, lieutenant, and captain. Of course, chief is not a promoted position, that is a hired position. So I don't know what our ranks are here. Chief, what are our ranks?
We have deputy chief, which is.
Is it assistant chief or deputy chief?
Deputy chief.
Deputy chief, okay.
And then we have lieutenant and sergeant at this time.
So no captains right now?
Okay. Not yet.
Okay. Well, that could be something that we leave in here in case we want to eventually have that as something, but deputy chief. Okay.
Brian, will they, his current and appointed officers, will they just assume a merit title, or will they have to go through a merit testing process to retain that?
Well, that's a good question. I believe that they've already been, and we can add that in here, that any officer that's currently a hired
Kind of get a
full-time
one-time pass.
is kind of grandfathered in.
Okay.
And we can certainly add some savings language in our rules to say that if you've already been hired as of, what was the formation of this body?
I guess we technically would have been January 1st of 2026, right? Didn't it, or was it sooner?
Oh, sooner than that. We had accepted it and we pushed it back.
That's what I'm saying. The
Well,
time's
I
got,
believe it was June or July.
The statute was, I believe, or I'm sorry, the ordinance, I believe, it's got an October of 24 date. Yeah, ordinance number 2024-19 as that was the abolishment of the town marshal and creation of this body. I want to say that was signed off on by the town council October the 28th, 2024.
okay.
Has anybody been hired as a full-time officer since then?
No.
Okay, so if we do a kind of a grandfather clause, it can be, yeah.
How many lieutenants and sergeants are there? I can't remember.
Right now, there's one of each.
One of each. Okay.
Probably there are two of us, the chief and deputy chief is only hired.
So that's, yeah, so if you were previously lieutenant,
Correct.
so we would also need we grandfather you in as a merit lieutenant, because you wouldn't go back to a patrolman.
Right.
Sean. Okay.
Okay, and then just continuing on, notification of promotions, things like that, that's all covered there in the page 9 and 10 as well. Annual budget, I know something that if we believe that we're going to need some funds for different things, especially with the merit process, we can certainly ask for that. I've established there a way that we can do that and ask the town council for money. And then rule 8 is conducting the commission meetings. I think it makes sense. I know this is January, but it certainly makes sense in December of every year to make your meetings for the following year at that point in time. Of course, we can do that. If we've not already, we can do that going forward. Quorum being 2/3 of this body, and then just how we amend the rules is the last page. So that's just a really quick review of that. This needs to be gone over. We probably need to have, certainly input from the chief, the town manager, potentially even, the town attorney, going forward on this. So if we want to open it up, obviously, to public comment, postings and things of that nature. So this is just an initial draft. And I figured it would take us just a little bit of time to get these put into.
Is this something we can share with the town council?
I don't know why not.
Already did.
We did.
You already did.
So,
Well,
So will you.
yeah. What we certainly want is, it never hurts to get as many eyes on something as possible. We want to put into effect a good, lasting policy that, God forbid, if we have to discipline an officer, that he can't come back and challenge that we were under a wrong set of rules. Or if we promote an officer and a different officer gets upset about that, that we have, good, solid rules to stand by. So, yeah, as many eyes on policies, the better, right? So, I don't know. We'll just have a plan when we'll take a look at them again. But certainly, I think everybody should go over them in detail, and then we can address them at our next meeting, and maybe even the meeting after that. That's all I have on that. Does anybody have any questions about the way that those are put together currently?
just something, Brian, where like we have like a joint meeting with us and the town council.
I think we certainly can. We will text Dustin with that question. Make sure how we would advertise that. I don't think it'd be that big a deal, but because I think we've done something in the past with the school board, kind of in the same respect. So it's possible. I think it'd be best.
Would be a regular open meeting, or could it be in I don't know.
Well, if we're doing anything that requires public comment, of course, we can't do that as executive meeting.
Yeah, I think I figure it'd be open to the public, so.
Yeah, I don't think there would be an issue.
We're on scan these in and get it to the council.
Okay.
So Emily's going to take care of that for us, I think.
Okay, anything else on that? Okay, set term limits. Okay,
It's just a straw. One has 1 year, one has 2 years, one has 3 years.
Now, I do believe if those were not enumerated in the original ordinance, it just said that one person will be one person will be two, and one person will be three, correct? And this is
yeah, and once we
to
go,
satisfy paragraph 3, board membership, correct?
because then, once we do this, then basically the term is gonna be 3 years, but we'll replace
Right,
one
your
every.
initial term is either 1, 2, or 3, that's what we're gonna draw for.
No,
And then when that's up, then it'll go to 3 years, and it'll be staggered by the 1, 2, 3. correct?
since I am up for election though, and I could potentially not win an election or not run, if I drew the 3. how would that
But
work?
if I'm not mistaken, any council member can be on this. It doesn't have to be the board,
So
or it
they would
doesn't be the
just,
president.
so it just, that person would assume that time. So
Well,
if it,
there's not a requirement that there's a council member on here. There's an allowance that a council member is on here.
okay,
So even if he's not a council member, he could stay on here until the end of his term.
Yes.
Okay.
well, I didn't know that. I think that's why I kind of was elected to the, actually, I don't know how the hell I.
You got
I
appointed.
got chosen, right?
You got chosen.
Chosen member.
So the way that I would see this going would be, if Ryan draws the 3 year and he loses his election and he's no longer on the town council, he would remain on. And if the town council wishes, like, let's say Curtis draws the 1 year, and if the town council then wishes to have a council member on, then they would not reappoint Curtis. They would appoint somebody new off of the current council. So that would be my position, my thought process on it.
You know which one it is. Cheating.
All right, let's open them.
Two.
3. You knew that was coming.
If I had 2, you had 3.
All right, Emily's got 1, Curtis has 2, and Ryan has 3. So please do reflect then that those will be the term years of membership for each of the folks up here.
So to verify then, these end at the end of this year, or do they end in February? I don't remember.
So, well,
Because they got appointed
think it was October. Our first meeting was November 12th, I think.
It would be from the appointment date, that would be,
Because it's a calendar year, or is it from day to day?
except as provided by paragraph E, term of each board member expires January 1st on the third year after the member's appointment.
We were appointed at the second council meeting in July.
So,
So is it July, then?
Well, there was, since I did, it was never really, I handpicked because we had to find members to do this. We really didn't have a true election in this sense, right? So maybe it should run January. It sounds like it would run January to.
well, I believe based on the way that this has been put together, except as provided in subsection E, E is the subsection that says an appointment for 1, an appointment for 2, an appointment for 3 years, and it establishes that it expires on January 1st, that the term of office expires on January 1st. I realize that the appointments may have been made earlier, but the first meeting wasn't until November of 2025. If the board is okay with allowing the terms that y'all just drew, I believe that would be supported by the ordinance, that the term for Emily then will expire on January 1st of 2027, Curtis, January 1st of 2028, and Ryan, January 1st of 2028.
So this kind of puts it in line with all the other.
Yes.
And
So-
we just need to know the ending date, so we can have it on agenda success.
So your initial term will end up being, I guess, technically a year and a half, right? Except for the fact that nothing even happened for 3 months after the initial appointment, and then you had basically November and December. And I think that would still be within the spirit of the ordinance. Okay,
And
very
it's
good.
all appointed by the council. So we don't, if, what I'm saying is, if we want to continue being on the commissioner,
The council has to.
do we notify them or we just,
I would say probably sometime in a few months before your term is up, you
talk to
really
them?
let the council know that you'd like to continue on with it.
And usually in December is when we seek out whoever.
Board membership.
Boards are now,
Expiring.
yeah.
I didn't know if we had to go through an application process. I know sometimes there's certain
We,
positions that,
we haven't in the past.
Okay,
on any of
that's
our
fine.
boards. It might not be a bad idea for later.
I wouldn't have gotten it.
No, and that's, I mean, this is out, I'm not in my lane right now, but you know, you see a lot of other towns send out things in the county seeking applications for board memberships. That might not be a bad thing to do, but that's a council question.
okay. All set on that? Okay, set 2026 meeting dates. Can we do it just by when we're needed, or do we actually have to have particular dates?
So you could certainly set a meeting up, and you could set a meeting up for the second Tuesday of every month, or whatever the case might be. And if there's a lack of business, it can be canceled.
Okay.
But I think you should set a meeting every month, and we can also call special meetings as we need. So if there's an immediate need for something going on in the department, we can certainly call a special meeting if necessary. But I just threw the second Tuesday out. That wasn't suggesting that. I was just made it up. But I think we should for sure set 12 meetings.
Okay.
And like I said, we can cancel for lack of business if necessary.
Anybody have any particular day of the week?
You have a schedule that tells when.
It almost does seem that the second Tuesday, which would be immediately following a council Monday, so that Tuesday following, does seem like there's a lot of openings. It doesn't seem there's anything in here, so that might be the
So the second Tuesday
of
of
each
every
month.
month?
Yeah, that one almost looks like it. And I don't see anything which would kind of be on the tails of the council meeting. Maybe right there would be about the only time in December, but that's it. The planning commission.
We also got, September.
Oh, yeah, right there. We'll take
I don't have one of those in front of me.
Otherwise, it looks like the latter part of the week is open on most months as well. So if if you took a Thursday or Friday, it looks like those days are, although I would encourage more towards a Thursday.
Yeah, I think a Thursday would be better.
So let's say the second Thursday of each month, because I don't see anything on any month.
We can do that. So the second,
And are we gonna keep the same 5:15 time, or do you want to do 5:30? Does that make it easier for you guys or harder?
5:15 or 5:30 works for me.
Same for me.
It's, the summer months are different for me. It just depends how busy I am. I'm good. We'll say 5:15 now. I think it'll be fine.
We've not set a set meeting, we have one in February, and we don't have anything scheduled after that. Our game plan was to do quarterly, and it was on the opposite, Monday, council meeting, as long as the board room is available, we're just going to record it.
okay, so we have second Thursday of each month at 5:15. Okay?
Sounds great.
Okay,
Then you can vote on that or anything, or just,
It's up to you if you want to call for a vote on the second Thursday of every month.
make a motion that we have our meetings the second Thursday of each month at 5:15.
Second.
All those in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Emily?
Aye.
Okay.
I was waiting for an A.
Yeah, I was like, well, all right, you said 5:15.
That's the right deal. Okay, next on the agenda is established procedures for virtual meeting attendance.
In Indiana Code 5-14-1.5-3.5, all town governing bodies are required to adopt a written policy establishing procedures that apply to a member's participation by electronic means. A copy of Resolution 2021-21 that was passed by the town council was provided in your packet as reference. At a previous pension board meeting, town attorney Dustin Huddleston stated that if a member is virtually present, the member can participate but cannot vote. He also informed the pension board that they could adopt the same policy approved by the town council or make their own.
Okay, that brings me to the, excuse me, the question, if we don't have all three of us here, do we, we can't have a meeting, is that correct?
Well, you can establish quorum as a lesser number. I know in these rules that I put out as a draft, I've listed quorum as 2. However, it would make sense that all 3 would need to be here to vote, since, it could be a 1-to-1 tie, and then you're not really doing anything other than spinning your wheels. But the question is on virtual attendance.
Yes.
Emily, what did you say about, is there an ordinance that says that you cannot, if you are appearing electronically, you cannot vote? 'Cause that wouldn't help us out much, would it?
So at the pension board meeting, Dustin had said that if a member is virtually present, that they can participate but cannot vote. At least that's what we have in the minutes.
I think we need to get better clarification on that.
Again,
Yeah.
as long as it's not financial money,
I mean, I see budgetary,
you
but
just have to do a roll call vote.
I tell you what, if we were doing a hearing on discipline, I would not like that. Quite frankly, I want you in here, because you may retire into an executive session, and that would be difficult. I don't know how you would have the person set up on the TV screen, I guess, then you'd have to transfer them into the other room. If we were going to do that and add that, of course, we put it in our rules. And I think that we can certainly talk about that and get it into the rules and procedures for us. But I think if we had a monthly meeting, I think it would be fine for someone to appear electronically. But if it were something as serious as, discipline or something like that, I would really hate for a vote to be taken without them being able to be here in person to basically see the whole room and the presentation of evidence. So I think we would certainly need to clarify, what Dustin was saying as far as for the pension board and just what our thoughts would be. There's an awful lot of trouble, I think, brewing if a person's not here and voting on somebody's livelihood and future. But add it to the list of things to discuss.
Any other questions on that? Anything from the audience?
Just, if we haven't had the one we made meetings for the next, to go through these rules, starting our process. We have applications that have been accepted. If it's going to be a little while longer, I think we should extend that application process to be as many applicants in as possible. But I want to approximately, and we should put that deadline. As well do is we posted it on, of course, social media, and also with the Law Enforcement Academy. I just need to push that date out. If you guys have an estimate on the right thing, I know there's a lot of discussion things to do here. We're trying to get some guidance.
Chief, I would imagine that we'll talk about it again on the 12th. Whether or not we'll be ready to get them completely locked down at that time, I think is another question. Okay. Yeah, that probably would be. And then we'll talk about it again on the 12th. When's the town council meeting? I don't know if there's anything that you guys want to go over.
That night.
February 9th, and then our exec, did it get bumped to the 11th?
I don't know anymore. Quite frankly, there was one scheduled for the 4th, but now it might have been moved to the 11th. I'm not in favor of moving that. That's a discussion that I'll handle internally. Yeah, if we could push that back, I think we need time to push that back. So if March is acceptable for everybody, I think it'd be best.
So we'll skip discussing these rules in February and bring them up again after everybody has a little time to chew on them come March.
March the 12th.
March, oh yeah. Okay. Sounds good to me.
So for now, there will be a meeting scheduled for February 12th, but there's not anything to discuss. It will be in.
I believe that if there is a lack of business, if there's nothing to do but for us all to show up and say the Pledge of Allegiance and go over the minutes, you can certainly move that. Just, under the standard posting and requirements.
So looking at the calendar again, February 12th, March 12th, April 9th, May 14th, June 11th, July the 9th, August 13th, September 10th, October 8th, November 12th, and December 10th. Is that what you guys all agree
Yeah.
on?
Yep.
Okay. We'll get those dates to the newspaper.
The only thing that I would suggest is October the 8th. I know I will be out of the country. I know that's a long way away. So if you wanted to do a different date in October or just leave it and see what happens. So I'll be gone the 8th and the 15th.
Just leave it alone for now. Then maybe
That sounds
handle the
good.
lack of interest.
The worst thing would be if we didn't push it just back to the 22nd.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Brian? Julie?
I don't have anything. Thank you.
Entertain motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Oh, now she speaks up.
Here you go, bud.